Channel. In today's video, I'm bringing you a story about two content creators. The gentleman on the screen now is Medusa's Judgment, and the woman coming up, her name is Tsehai, and she's a new content creator. And Medusa's Judgment is a guy whose content literally panders to women. He gives advice, supposedly, to women on TikTok on empowerment and how not to date broke, needy, hobosexuals, or pests that want to nest. This is his entire shtick. But according to Tsehai, that's exactly what he is. He put her through an amount of ridiculousness that I can't even comprehend. Let's get into it.
Hello everyone, my name is Tsehai, and I'm making this video to talk about an experience I had with a pretty popular creator on this app by the name of Medusa's Judgment, or Poetic Exposure TV. I want to start off by saying that this video is not to bash anyone or send hate to anyone. This is just simply me talking about my experience, speaking about my story and my truth. In August of 2022, I DM'd this individual on Instagram saying I'm a really big fan of your content and I enjoy watching your videos. From that initial conversation, we started a flirty back and forth, like get to know you over the phone or FaceTime over text type of relationship, and he seemed really genuine. He seemed like a really nice guy. I really enjoyed talking to him, and eventually, a couple weeks after that initial DM, he suggested that maybe I should come to Philly. We could go to museums, we could go sightsee, I could show you around my city. And he was saying all these things, and I was like, you know what, sure, why not? I start college in about a month. I start my sophomore year of college in about a month, and I have a little bit of free time before the summer finally ends. Why not go to Philly for the first time? It will be fun, you know. He has a lot of stuff planned. So fast forward to the middle of September 2022, I actually go to Philly. When I got to Philly, I quickly realized all the stuff he was telling me we were going to do over the phone was just simply him telling me what I wanted to hear. None of that stuff he had actually planned. None of the stuff that he said we were going to do, we actually did. All the stuff that we did in Philly was me suggesting, like, hey, we should go to the farmer's market, or hey, we should go here. Nothing he said was actually what we did in Philly, and that was okay. I still had a really good time. I spent about a week in Philly, and when I got back to Washington, that's when things got really, really weird. We continued to talk on the phone and text like normal, and he started to talk to me about wanting to move. He was like, yeah, I want to move out of Philly. I hate Philly. I don't want to be here anymore. I've been here for my whole life, 25 years. I want to move and see different things. And I was like, oh, okay, like, cool. Where do you want to move? And he goes, oh, what about Washington? I can move up there with you. And I'm like, oh, well, you should wait a little bit. You should come and see Washington, visit Washington, or save a little bit of money before you just up and move. And he was basically telling me like, oh, don't tell me what to do. I'm grown. I can make my own decisions. I know what's best for me. And I was like, okay, like, you got it. You can do whatever you want. You're right. He then starts saying he wants to move specifically to Bellingham, Washington, my small college town. And when he says this, he suggests that I get a 2-bedroom apartment in my name and he can just move in and live with me. And I shut this down completely quickly, and I was like, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't want to get a 2-bedroom apartment my sophomore year.
But the point is, you fuck crazy. You don't let crazy move in.
And you just come and live with me. Like, I've only known you for a couple months. I'm not doing that. So he goes on to say, like, okay, well, if not, can you just suggest apartments in Bellingham that I could possibly move to? And I was like, okay, like, I can't stop this man from moving. If he's gonna move, he's gonna move. I can't tell him he can't move. So I was like, yeah, I could look around at some apartments for you, and I could suggest a nice couple apartments for you. I suggested 3 apartments for him, one of them being my apartment that I was currently living at, because I knew it was a student housing apartment, but it also rented to non-students, and it was very understanding for people who had bad credit or low credit or like financial issues. They were very understanding, and they accepted a lot of people. So I knew that when I suggested this apartment for him, that he would most likely get accepted. And he applied, and he did get accepted. So 3 weeks after initially seeing him in Philly, he was moving to Washington, specifically Bellingham, Washington. And I couldn't fathom in my brain why he was so quick and urgent, like, to move. But now looking back on it, it's because he saw the financial situation I was in. He saw that I had my own stuff going for me, my own car, a place, and he knew my financial situation was a lot better than his. So he wanted to leech off me and use me. And that's why he was so quick to move, because he thought I was going to be his cash cow.
There is an epidemic of gold digging whores in this country.
So in the process of moving from Philly to Bellingham, Washington, he takes the Greyhound bus. And when he takes the Greyhound bus, he comes with one suitcase. He packs his whole apartment up, sells everything, and comes with one suitcase. On the bus, since it's a long bus ride, they stop in different states. They stopped in, I believe, Denver. And when they stopped in Denver, he got out of the bus and walked around. And then when he came back to the Greyhound station to get back on the bus to continue the ride to Bellingham, he realized the bus had gone and left him because he missed it while walking around. So he calls me. He's like, yeah, I missed the bus. They say another bus doesn't come till 9 hours. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. What are you going to do? And he's like, oh, I don't know. But I was like hoping you would get like a hotel room for me just for 9 hours while I wait for another bus to come. And I said, no, like, you missed your bus. You were irresponsible. You got off the bus and walked around. It's not my job. This is when the emotional and verbal abuse started. So he starts to yell at me and curse at me over the phone and get mad at me for not helping him buy a hotel room because he missed his bus. And he starts to use these manipulation tactics like, oh, I'm moving all the way out here for you and you can't even buy me a hotel for 9 hours.
What's better your damn mind?
And I'm just like, no. Mind you, I'd already helped him with his first month's rent. He was saying, I can't pay first month's rent. I'm moving. So I was like, okay, like, I'll help you. I know you guys, like, I would never do this ever again for anybody. I learned my lesson. I will never help anybody like this ever again. So I helped him with his first month rent already. And now he's asking for more because he missed his bus. I was like, absolutely not. It's not my responsibility to fund your life. Like, no. So he gets mad at me and starts cursing at me and yelling at me over the phone. About a day and a half after that phone conversation when he's yelling at me and cursing, he actually gets to Bellingham, and I go to the Bellingham Greyhound station and go pick him up. So when I go pick him up, I'm being very cordial, I'm being very nice to him, but I can tell that this person in my passenger seat is not the same person that I DM'd on Instagram, and is dang sure not the same person that he portrays himself to be on TikTok. This is a very short-tempered individual, very angry individual, and I can tell by the way he's interacting with me, and I can tell by the way he interacted with me the previous day on the phone. So the Bellingham Greyhound station is about 5 minutes from the apartment we were staying at. So we drive to the apartment and we go and look at his apartment. He gets his keys, we go in, and it reeks. It reeks of pee. It smells horrible. The roommate has a cat that has peed on any and everything in sight, and he turns to me and he says like, hey, can I just sometimes stay at your place just to sleep, or sometimes during the day, because I can't, like, the smell, I can't get used to the smell. And I felt really bad, and that was my mistake, feeling bad, my first mistake. And I said yes, and he completely took advantage of this and got really crazy. He would be in my apartment for hours at a time, making skits and TikToks in my clothes, going through my closet, using my dresses, my bonnets, my shirts, everything for his skits, and he would be wearing my clothes in his skits. He would even go live almost daily in my Western Washington University hoodie, and when people would see the live, they would ask him in the comments like, hey, are you going to college? Are you enrolled there? And he would either block them or delete their comments. And just to prove I actually go to that school, here's my ID. When I finally did work up the courage to tell him like, hey, I don't want you here 24/7. I need my space sometimes. You cannot be in my apartment using my room, using my apartment for your TikTok videos 24/7.
You want to go home? You want to go to jail, huh?
And this is when he gets violent. When I tried to set this boundary with him, he got so upset, he started throwing things, cursing, punching stuff in my apartment, slamming doors, and even getting in my face trying to physically intimidate me because I told him I can't have you here 24/7. He eventually did leave that day, but I was so shaken up because I was like, oh my gosh, who have I invited into my life? Like, I'm so stupid. Who is this person? I don't even know this person, and I invited them in my life willingly. I'm gonna have to make a part 2 about how he threatened my life on Christmas Eve with knives, but right now I just want to say that I waited so long to say something or to make this video because I felt the power dynamic between me and him, nobody was going to believe me. And I still feel like not a lot of people are going to believe me because most of his supporters are women who think he's this outstanding, upstanding, nice guy. And I don't fault them because I thought the same thing, but I just felt like no one would believe my story. He has all these supporters, all these followers. No one's going to believe, what I'm saying. And I still feel that way, but I wanted to put this out there because I know I'm not his only victim and there's other women that he has affected and they should come forward as well. Hello everyone, this is part 2. Again, this is not to bash anyone or send any hate to anyone. This is just me telling my story. So about a day after he goes crazy in my apartment because I told him he can't be there 24/7, he comes to my door and he has his head down and he's moping and going on a tangent about how nothing's working out for him right now and this move stressed him out, he has no money and all this stuff. You're not a baby, you're a man! And I quickly realized, okay, so he's basically apologizing without actually saying the words, I'm sorry. And I used to have this problem, I can admit, a long time ago, but I never took someone for what they were when they first showed me. I always gave people chances and chances and chances because I always wanted to see the good in people, and I believe that everybody has good in them, and I believed he had good in him. So when he did this whole fake apology, I still allowed him to spend nights and sleep in my apartment. So he starts sleeping back at my apartment, and my roommates are okay with it as long as he's not there 24/7. So he starts sleeping there and everything is good. I perceived everything to be good for about 3 weeks. 3 weeks until November. When November came, I'm planning to go get my hair done. When I'm planning to get my hair done, I'm calling my hairstylist, but she lives in Tacoma. If you know anything about Washington, you know Tacoma and Bellingham about 3 hours apart. Whenever I go to Tacoma, I can't come back to Bellingham in the same day. It's too much traveling for me and I get tired really quick after I get my hair done. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll just go to Tacoma, get my hair done, and then I'll go to Seattle from Tacoma and just stay like a night or a day with my mom and catch up with my mom and my siblings because why not? It's close. I have to pass it anyway and I don't want to be on the road. So I get my hair done in Tacoma and my hair takes about 7 hours to get done, and then I go to my mom's house in Seattle and I stay there for a day. And while I'm staying there, we're still talking, we're still texting, and everything seems to be fine. My roommates have my number, they haven't called me, haven't texted me about anything, so I'm like, okay, everything's good. After I leave my mom's house and go back to Bellingham, this is when I get a weird feeling because he starts acting completely weird, like he wasn't acting before. He's pacing my room, texting, and then he's pacing the apartment complex on the phone. He's ignoring me, and I just feel a gut feeling like something is wrong, something is not right, but I can't pinpoint what it is, and I'm not going to ask him because he's going to blow up on me. So I just waited the whole day when I got back, and then at night, something told me, hey, check his phone. He had previously given me his password in Philly because he was like all about, oh, check a man's phone, I don't hide anything. So I had never went to his phone before. I had never looked at it in Philly, and something told me tonight, like, just look through his phone, and I did. Immediately when I open his phone, I see dating apps. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 dating apps on his phone.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Stop playing! What the fuck? Stop playing! What the fuck is that? Ah! What the fuck?
And I'm shocked because he's the main one saying, oh, I moved here for you, I'm doing all of this for you, and there's 5 dating apps on your phone. So I'm shocked because I didn't think he had these dating apps on his phone, and obviously it's because he wants to keep his options open and meet, girls at my college. Then I went to his Instagram DMs. When I get to his Instagram DMs, I click on one of the first DMs. I see that he's talking to this woman saying basically, oh, look at what these men are doing. They're exposing you in chat rooms. They have your photos. And he sends her a photo, and the photo is of her, and she's not wearing anything. She's not wearing a top. Her chest is exposed. And as soon as I read picture, I was like, let me go to gallery. Let me see what else he has in this phone. When I went to the gallery, I immediately started to tear up because I see a bunch of pictures. It was easily over 20 pictures of exposed women. And some of these women had their faces in the camera, and some of these women did not have a face to the picture. Like, they did not have their face in the camera, but the ones that did, they looked young. They looked like they can be in their late teens to early 20s. These were young women, and you could tell the photos were pictures that were sent to, you know, maybe a guy that they liked, and nudes that they sent to maybe their friends or something. But it was 20 or more pictures.
We have sort of a problem here. Yeah.
And I'm like, it's one thing to tell a woman like, hey, they're exposing you, you should take legal action, this is what they're doing. And it's another thing to have 20 plus pictures saved in your gallery. Like, why do you have these pictures saved in your phone? That's weird. So I waited, and I was like, you know what, in the morning I'm gonna say something. But then the morning came, I was like, no, I'm gonna wait till night so that he can come here and think he's about to go to sleep, and then I can bring it up. So that next night, he's in my room, he's sitting on the edge of my bed, he's texting on his phone, and I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you. He goes, yeah, why, what's up? And I'm like, I went through your phone. And before I could even say anything that I found, he jumps up, he's like, you went through my phone? And I'm like, yeah. So he starts pacing the room, panting and like shaking and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I went through your phone and I saw everything. I told him everything I saw. I told him about the dating apps, I told him about all the pictures and the DMs that I saw. I told him everything, and he could not give me a logical explanation as to why he had 5 dating apps on his phone and why he had all those pictures of those exposed women. And it's not like he had all the DMs telling these women they were being exposed. A lot of these pictures were just random women that he did not know. So he's sitting at the edge of my bed with his face in his hands, crying, like loud boohoo sobbing. And I'm telling him, like, whatever you thought we had before, we definitely don't have that now. And at this point, I don't even have to tell him to leave my apartment. He knows I want him to leave. I tell him, like, hey, I could be cordial, I could be respectful with you, but, like, I don't like you. Respectfully, I tell him, like, hey, I don't like you. I don't like who you are as a person. And he's still crying, but eventually he does get up and leave. After this, everything's different. About 2 weeks goes by. I'm avoiding him. I'm not texting him as much. I'm leaving him on red because I just don't want to interact with him, and he senses that. At this point in time, it's November. It's like mid to late November, and my roommates are talking to me in the kitchen, and they're telling me, like, hey, we need to start locking the door. We leave out in the morning and we're going to class, we're rushing to go out somewhere at night, and we're leaving this door unlocked. We need to start locking this door. And everybody agreed to do their part to make sure the door is always locked. Then they also told me, like, we don't feel comfortable. Sometimes he's a little weird because every time we're walking to class in the morning or leaving, he's in the apartments, around the apartments, looking at them, giving them dirty looks, giving them mean mugs, and they just feel like he's weird. So at this point, Thanksgiving break is coming up for my college, and I have to make a decision. Do I leave him at these apartments where he could possibly make my roommates feel extremely uncomfortable, or where he could possibly try to get into my apartment when I'm gone because one of my roommates leaves the door unlocked, and bring a girl? I don't know what he's capable of at this point. I don't know if he would try to bring a girl that he meets on one of these dating apps into my apartment, or what he would try to do, but I don't know what he's capable of. So I'm like, do I leave him here and go visit my family for Thanksgiving for a couple days, or do I say, hey, like, you should come to Thanksgiving with me? So I came up with this plan to tell him, like, hey, my mom really wants to meet you. Like, you should come celebrate Thanksgiving with us. It would be great. It would be great for you to get out of Bellingham and see Seattle. It's perfect. It's perfect. And he's like, no, he's not budging. He's like, no, I'm staying in Bellingham. I'm staying at the apartment. Like, no, I'm not leaving, basically. Mind you, my family doesn't know much about him. Only thing I told them about him is that he has horrible anger issues, and he takes his anger out on me sometimes. Other than that, they don't know a lot of this stuff. So I told my mom that I am potentially going to be bringing him, and that she should just be like cordial with him. And I did. He finally agreed to go the day before I left to Seattle for Thanksgiving. He's like, okay, fine, I'll go. But he was super suspicious because he thought I was trying to set him up or get him jumped, which never was the case. So we go to Seattle for Thanksgiving, and he meets my mom. My mom does not like him. I already knew she wouldn't like him. It was just a matter of keeping him out of Bellingham so he doesn't do anything weird with my apartment or with my roommates. So when we get back, I get a text from the group chat with my roommates saying, we have to be on top of locking this door. I'm noticing that it's still not getting locked at night, and it's still not getting locked in the mornings. It's for our safety. We need to lock this door. And I start to be so thankful that I actually peer pressured him into coming with me, because no telling what he would have did when I was gone. I have a couple more things to tell you all, but I'm gonna have to make a part 3, and that will be the last and final part. Hello everyone, this is the last and final part 3. I want to say I'm not bashing anyone or sending any hate to anyone. This is just me telling my experience and speaking my truth. After we get back from Thanksgiving dinner, things are awkward because I'm avoiding him. I'm not responding to text messages. I'm being super distant with him. And I still see him every day when I go out of my apartment because he's in and around the apartments. So when I'm walking to class, I see him. When I go to my car, I see him. I get a message from him. And he's saying, I know you don't like me. I know what we had once before we'll never have again, but I still want to get you your money. I was wondering if we could do DoorDash or Instacart so I can get you your money. At this point, the holidays are coming up. Winter break is coming up for my college, and I do really want my money. And the money that I loaned him wasn't like a small $200 or $400. I loaned him over $2,000 for the moving and the helping with his rent. So I did want my money back. So you guys can call me whatever you want in the comments, but I did say yes, like we can do Uber or Instacart or DoorDash for your money. This whole situation was a learning experience, so I know not to do these things ever again. After Instacarting and doing DoorDash for a couple weeks, I completely shut it down because one of the last times we did Instacart, we got into an argument in the car. And I was in the passenger seat and he was driving my car on the highway. And he looked at me and he raised his voice and he said, keep talking to me right now so that I could flip this car and us both. And obviously I started crying and I completely stopped talking to him. And once we got back to the apartment, he went his way, I went my way, and he blocked me on Instagram, he blocked me on TikTok, and he blocked me on every social media that he had. And I'm still blocked on those things till today. At this time, it's winter break. Mainly everybody at the apartment is gone, including all of my roommates. Anybody who knows anything about college knows when winter break comes, everybody goes home and sees their family for Christmas, New Year's, that kind of thing. My family doesn't celebrate Christmas, so I had no reason to leave. I get a message from him late December, and he's asking to come over to my apartment to watch a movie, and he wants to start the new year right and just bring positive energy into the new year. And I can confidently say this is the worst mistake I ever made in my life. I'm all about accountability, and I can look back and say if I would have just said no or put my foot down and had a backbone, a lot of this stuff wouldn't have happened. But when he said that, I said, okay, under one condition, you're not sleeping in my apartment, you're not staying there, we can watch a movie, you can say sorry, that's it, it's done. And he's like, okay, cool. Late December one night, I'm coming home from work. I'm saying late December because I don't remember the exact dates for everything when these things happen. I'm coming home from work and he comes down the stairs and he's trying to help me park because I'm having some trouble. But I told him like, hey, I got it. I kind of brushed him off like, hey, I got it. I'm just taking a little bit more time because I just bought this new car. When I told him no, I didn't need help parking and he stormed off, I sat in my car and I thought like, no, I'm not going into the new year like this. No, I don't want an apology from him. No, I don't want to pretend to be nice to him and like him and watch a movie with him for 2 hours in my apartment. Like, no, I'm not doing it. When I get up there to my apartment, I'm going to tell him, no, we can't do anything. So immediately when I get up to my apartment, he is going off. You never let me lead. You never let me help you. I was just trying to help you. I told him like, hey, I didn't need help. And right now I need you to leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to watch a movie. I don't need an apology. And this got him really mad. And while he's doing all this yelling, he's in my kitchen and I'm in my room and I'm asking him, please leave my apartment. I asked him to leave my apartment twice. And when I'm saying this, I'm saying it in a very calm manner. And on the second time, he goes, okay. And I see him reach for something in my kitchen. I don't know what he's reaching for. I don't know what he's about to do. I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. Then he comes into my room and he's holding my roommate's 3 kitchen knives, large kitchen knives that you cut chicken with and you cut up carrots with. He's holding 3 large kitchen knives and he's saying someone is going to, you know what, tonight. Someone's gonna tonight. And by the time it takes me to get to my balcony to try to unlock my balcony door, then unlock my screen door, he already has me by my shirt, pulling me back into my apartment, choking me because he's grabbing so hard on my shirt. I'm trying to scream, I'm trying to yell, but he's pulling my shirt so hard it's choking me and I can't even get words out. And everybody's gone. These apartments are like a ghost town. None of my roommates are home and everybody went home for winter break. So I knew he knew this, and that's why he felt comfortable doing what he did then and not any time before. So he gets me back in the room. He still has all 3 of them in his hand and he has me by the shirt. I go to reach for my phone. He grabs it. After this, I don't see my phone for a while. I'm asking him, please let me go. Please get off of me. He's refusing. He held these knives in his hand for hours. And when he put them down, he never put them back in the kitchen. He kept them in my room and I felt trapped and I had nowhere to go, no phone to text anybody, no phone to call anybody. And I also had no witnesses to this. My apartment didn't have cameras and everybody was gone. That night, he stayed up yelling at me for hours. And when he finally did fall asleep, I felt trapped. He had my phone. He snatched my phone. I haven't seen my phone in hours. I couldn't call anybody. And I knew if I wanted to make a run for it, I would have to get through my room door, which was locked. And then I would have to go past the kitchen to the front door, which was also probably locked. So the probability of me getting out without him noticing or getting out without him grabbing me was very low. I stayed up the whole night crying, terrified of what he could possibly do to me. And when he did wake up finally in the morning, he pretended like everything was normal. He started talking to me like normal and didn't mention anything about what he did the night before, to the point where I'm like, were you even sober? Like, what is going on? And I asked him in the morning, since he was calm and pretending to be normal, leave my apartment, leave now and give me my phone. He left that morning and he gave me my phone and I immediately called my mom, telling her everything that happened. And she immediately told me, call the police, call the non-emergency line, call right now. And that's what I did. I called them, and by the way they interacted with me on that phone, I immediately knew they were not taking this situation as serious as it affected me. They're asking me questions like, are you in any immediate danger? Did anybody see anything? Did the cameras catch anything? Is he still there right now? Do you know where he is? And I'm like, no, 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 and no. Nobody saw anything. There are no cameras at this apartment. He's not here right now. I'm not in any immediate danger, but I'm still telling you guys, this is what happened. And the only reason I'm calling right now is because I did not have access to my phone. They went on to tell me that because it was hours ago, because it was last night, and he's not any immediate danger to me anymore, and nobody saw anything, and there were no cameras, that they can make a report, but they can't arrest him. So I'm stuck in my apartment with nobody here with me, and I don't know where he is at this point. This was late December, early January, and later that month in January, he tells me that he wants to go back to Philly. He's still not acknowledging the magnitude of what he did to me was horrible. He's not acknowledging that. He never even said sorry. But at this point, I want him out of my life for good. I want to be able to move comfortably and not have a fear that he's watching my new apartment or seeing where I'm gonna move. So January flies by and he's telling me when I get my income taxes, if I have enough, I'm gonna move and pay you your money, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, no, just focus on moving. Just focus on moving. Like, I don't want you in my life anymore. He gets his income taxes and he moves back to Philly in February. After he moves about 3 months, I get a text from him. Mind you, I didn't block him because I thought he was going to give me a sincere apology and apologize to me. He never did. He texts me about 3 months later saying, oh, I know you don't want to hear from me, but I still love you. God bless. I just want to get that off my chest. And I'm like, what? So I block him. About 8 months after I blocked his number, I get a random text message from a number saying, oh, I just remember how much you liked the Bob Marley movie. And it's a trailer for the Bob Marley movie in the text message. And I'm like, okay, who is this? And he goes, Tsehai is Rashawn. and I blocked the number immediately. Since then, he has not tried to talk to me. He has not tried to call me. I got no messages from him. He's never said sorry, and he's on this app pretending like everything's okay and fine, and it's not. And I want people to know that this person is very toxic and very crazy. Ladies, please be careful and learn from my many mistakes. And I've also learned from my mistakes. Thank you, guys.
Okay, guys, that's the entire story. What do you think of that? I think he's a whole hobosexual. He literally, Medusa wanted to rest. He was a pest that wanted to rest and nest. He wanted to move in with this child in college. He wanted to derail her entire life. And this is one of those anti-red pill men. This is one of those men, he's one of those men who acts as if he's telling women the game and how men get over. Meanwhile, he's the one trying to get over. And it's crazy to me because men say that women are jaded, right? And they get this wonderful woman. She was innocent. She was willing to help him and help him move forward, even just from a friendship. And he still went out and had other people, dating apps. He still was abusive to her. He still was mean to her. He still stalked her and her friends. He still did these horrible things, even though she had gone out of her way to make him welcome in her city. I don't know, guys. I think there were so many red flags. I am glad she got out of the situation. I'm glad that she learned from it. But I think it's a lesson to everyone. Just because a man pacifies or peddles what it is that we want to hear, it doesn't mean that's who he is in his spirit. And obviously this man here, he didn't have a good spirit. He was not what he portrays on his TikTok. And I went to try to find his TikTok page and it's gone. So maybe there's that. I don't know, guys. You guys get in the comments and you let me know what you thought about this story. Did I miss any of the red flags? Has this been you? What are your thoughts on this? How do you tell your daughter who is in college, who meets someone and thinks he is the best thing walking, and you know he's not good for her? What do you say? I don't know. That's all I got. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think. And please, guys, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I know I don't have many subscribers, but I do have almost 1,000. I would really like to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. Every little bit helps, and I appreciate you stopping by. Until next time, toodles.